Hi guys. Okay, this week we have been talking about fables. And remember, a fable is a short fiction story, and fables usually use characters or animals for their main characters. And the animals in the stories have a lot of human traits and they act a lot like humans. Over the past 2 days, we've read and talked about the story, The Ant and the Grasshopper. Today, we're going to work with a different fable. It's one of my favorites. But real quick, before we get started with that, I want you to remember that fables, at the end of every fable, they usually teach us a very important life lesson or moral. Whether it's being nice to people, working hard. The life lesson we learned from The Ant and the Grasshopper is to always work hard, because if not, you might not get what you want or what you need, okay? So that was the life lesson we learned. Today, we're going to talk about how we can take morals from a story. And I'm just going to put these up here. Morals and lessons from the from the fables that we read. And we can use those morals and lessons that we read or we learn from the fables, and we can use them in the real world, right? So when we read The Ant and the Grasshopper, we learned how important it is to work hard instead of just playing around all the time, right, and singing songs. Because what happened at the end of that fable is when the grasshopper needed food, he didn't have any because he didn't work hard over the summer months to gather the food. So we learned that it's important to always work hard, do your work, okay? And we can apply that to the real world, because that's an important life lesson for us to know as we actually do things out in the world, right? Okay, so today we're going to read a different fable, and we are going to break apart the fable that we read, and we are going to use our reading voice and our thinking voice to fill in this chart, and we're going to see if we can come up with the moral at the end of the story. Okay, so I'm just going to move up a little bit, so I'm going to get all my things ready. Okay. Alrighty, so the story I'm going to read for you today is The Little Red Hen. And it's written by Heather Forrest and it's illustrated by Susan Gaber. Now, there are a lot of different versions of this story, so you may have heard a version of this story before. I don't know if you've heard this exact one because there are so many, but the main message and the moral at the end of this fable is the same throughout the stories, throughout all the different versions of stories. So here we go, The Little Red Hen. Here's my title page, The Little Red Hen. A little red hen lived in a house with a frisky dog, a cat, and a mouse. One day, while she was pecking for worms in the weeds, she came upon a pile of golden wheat seeds. Alrighty, now right away, let's go ahead and look at the picture, and let's use our reading voice, okay? Our reading voice tells us that the little red hen lived in a house, right? So we know that the little red hen is living in the house. If you look, and the words say that she was pecking and found some wheat, okay? So she finds this wheat right outside her house. Oh, let me see, sorry, I thought I was ready. Okay, and if you look in the picture, it also looks like they're in a field, right? Kind of like a cornfield. So we're going to use the picture. So all of these things combined, what the book says, that she lives in a house, She finds wheat. The picture looks like there's a cornfield. My thinking voice is telling me that the setting of this story of where they're at, they must be in a small house on a farm. I hope your thinking voice was telling you the same thing. All right, let's keep reading. So she found this pile of wheat seeds. She said with delight, "Dog, cat, mouse, if you'd like some cake to eat, who will help me plant this wheat?" The dog said, "Not I." And look, it looks like he's kind of holding a blankie. The cat said, "Not I." And that cat's all wrapped up in yarn. And the mouse said, "Not I." So right away, before I continue on, let's talk a little bit about these characters, right? So we have 3 characters in this story. Actually, I'm sorry, we have 4 characters in the story. But let's talk about the dog. The dog in this picture looks like he's holding a blankie. Okay? Oopsies. And he says, when the hen asks for help, the dog says, "Not I." So he's kind of being lazy. And my thinking voice is telling me that this dog is either being lazy or he's sleepy. Okay? Because he says, "Not I," and he's holding a blankie. So that's what I'm thinking about the dog, that he's either lazy or sleepy. The cat is playing with yarn, right? She's all wrapped up in it. And she also says, "Not I," when the hen asks for help, or who wants to help. So that's telling me that the cat would rather play than be helpful. So the cat would rather play. He wants to play instead of being helpful, right? Let's talk about the mouse. The mouse looks like he's reading in a book. Kind of looks like he's maybe distracted, but also that he's reading. And he also says, "Not I. I'm not helping you." To me, my thinking voice is telling me that the mouse is not being very helpful, probably because he's a little bit distracted. He's distracted by all of the books that he wants to read. Okay, so let's go on before we talk about the hen. Oops, I need those. So everybody says, "Not I." My, said the hen with a sigh. "I shall have to do it myself." So the little red hen planted the seeds. She watered them well, and she pulled the weeds. She tended to the plants all alone. When the stalks had fully grown, she said with a shout, "Dog, cat, mouse, if you'd like some cake to eat, who will help me cut this wheat?" So she just wants them to help, doesn't she? What do you think they're going to say? Knowing what we know about our characters so far, do you think the dog and cat and the mouse are going to want to help them? Help the little red hen? I don't think so. The dog said, "Not I." The cat said, "Not I." The mouse said, "Not I." And you can look, the dog still has his blankie. The cat is really playing. The mouse is distracted. He's playing on the wheat. My, said the hen with a sigh. "I shall have to do it myself." So the little red hen cut and cut until she had enough wheat to grind at the mill. She said with some doubt, "Dog, cat, mouse, if you'd like some cake to eat, who will help me grind this wheat?" Do you think that they're going to help her? I don't think so either. The dog said, "Not I." The cat said, "Not I." The mouse said, "Not I." And you can look, the dog still has its blankie, the cat is too busy playing, the mouse is too busy being distracted and reading another book. My, said the hen with a sigh, I shall have to do it myself. Before I go on, let's talk about the Little Red Hen as our character, okay? So, the Little Red Hen, she plants the seeds, right? And she's asking for help, and nobody will help her, and all she wants is her friends to help. She plants the seeds by herself. She waters the seeds by herself. She pulls the weeds by herself. This poor little red hen does everything by herself. So my thinking voice is telling me that the red hen is a hard worker, right? Whoopsies. So now that we have the characteristics of all of our characters here, it's going to help us come up with the moral of the story. So let's review before I continue. We know that the dog is lazy and sleepy. He's not helping. The cat doesn't want to help because the cat just wants to play. The mouse doesn't want to help because he's too distracted by reading books. The little red hen is the hardest worker, and she's doing everything by herself. What do you predict is going to happen when the cake is all finished? Keep your prediction in your head. Let's finish reading and see if you got it right. So the little red hen ground the wheat to flour. Then it was the baking hour. She mixed up the batter and measured so well. Soon the house was filled with a sweet cake smell. I wonder if the rest of the characters are going to smell how good the cake smells. The dog, the cat, and the mouse followed the scent into the house. They hungrily admired the handsome treat. How delicious, they shouted. When do we eat? Uh-oh. Now they want to eat the cake. Do you think the little red hen is going to let them eat the cake? And she did all the work by herself. Alone, the hen replied. I planted, I weeded, I cut, I ground the little pile of golden wheat seeds that I found. Alone, I used the flour to bake. Now who will help me eat this cake? The dog said, I'll help. The cat said, I'll help. The mouse said, I'll help. Now they all want to eat the cake, don't they? My, said the hen with a sigh. I will share my cake with those of you who help when there is work to do. For after all is said and done, working together makes working more fun. Now, when the little red hen wants to bake, everyone helps to make the cake. And everyone helps to eat it. The end. So, the moral of the story, my reading voice told me that the little red hen just wanted to help, and nobody wanted to help at first, right? So nobody wanted to help at first, but they all wanted to eat the cake. And the hen said, I will let you help, or I will let you eat the cake when you help me. So that's what the hen said. I'll let you eat when you help. So my thinking voice is leading me to believe that the moral of this story is that good things happen when you work together. Would you agree with me? Good things happen when you work together would be the moral of this story. All right, you guys, thanks for listening. And when you go into Seesaw, you will have a few questions about this story. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye.